Hey everybody, welcome to Children of Rath. Greetings. We're playing D&D meets Magic the Gathering after I killed people for a brief second with pre-shows job.
And it's your birthday!
And it's Jason's birthday!
Yes.
Yay,
That means I'm gonna be
happy
extra
birthday.
cruel and malicious so I feel happier and I take up your happiness. I mean, no.
Did you
You
get
were
anything
infant.
cool for your birthday?
I slept and sit around. And then I picked up some Applebee's. It's a birthday at the time of a plague. It's not a lot of like special things. I might schedule something for my vacation with the people that I'm going with, my friends that I'm going with. That might be the time. I thought about that and I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll do that. But anyway, so we're playing Dungeons and Dragons. We're set in the Magic the Gathering world of Dominaria, and these people had some crazy adventures last week. If you missed it, at least go and watch the last, hour for what the hell happened, because you are missing out on so goddamn much as they did Fast and the Furious Kart Edition.
Hell yeah, we did.
Effectively, they were going around this old trail that was an old trade trail through the Ironclaw Mountains. Not used much anymore, so kind of in disarray. And on the edge of the Ironclaw Mountains, where a number of giants basically keep the peace in between the two two mountain ranges between the Ironclaw and Hurloon Mountains, there's a bridge. On one side of the bridge, of course, the giants. On the side of the bridge you're on, orcs decided to settle in that way, because of course, this is their borderland, and now that the Ironclaw Orcs are attempting to create their own small empire within the Ironclaw Mountains, well, you know, settlement.
We're playing Borderland now?
Yes.
I'm okay with this.
A small, tiny man with armed with, 2 crossbows will pop out of something and try to shoot you a lot.
So, Catherine.
Hi.
Double crossbows!
I do have a Borderlands weapon in D&D-ified somewhere.
Anyway, so they managed to safely get across the bridge under the watch of the giants. The orcs, very pissed off that they basically, busted through their territory very rapidly, are effectively just watching them, but not following. So now you're under the watchful eyes of 2 groups, as your card has now kind of fallen apart on the other side of the bridge, having finally, having all the shock of, going at speeds much faster than it's supposed to, and, jumping a ramp, over a small wall.
Without a suspension.
Without a suspension, yeah. So, it'll be a little bit to repair it. Not impossible, but definitely take a little time to repair it. And so what is your plan now?
Unconscious.
You are indeed unconscious.
And if I wasn't, I'd be in a lot of pain.
We've all been there.
I'm going to, nudge Claude and be like, hey, buddy.
You mean my pile of goo?
Yeah,
Yeah, Claude's birthday pile of goo.
It's
my
on the
shoes-
ground currently.
Yeah, my shoes go to, slightly pick pile of glue that's Claude and be like, hey, buddy, you okay?
Does not
Guys,
respond.
It's okay.
I have a question. Do healing potions work by contact or by ingestion?
Force feed.
Ingestion, but I mean you could just dump it in it because claws goo.
Okay,
I'll absorb it.
yeah, I pop open one of my 5 healing potions and shove it into his goo mouth thing.
You just kind of turn upside down.
I don't
and
have
just,
an orifice at the moment. I think you just poured
Okay, I
it
just-
on me.
I just sprinkle it on you.
Oh, are you watering the goo mats?
A what?
Are you watering the Claude goo mats?
I wouldn't say watering. I'd say
Is
more
that how
like
you make Claude grow?
I
you
think
make it
Claude
sound like
can
he's a tree rather than a person.
Claude, roll 2d4 plus 2.
Okay. Hold on.
Claude, are you growing? Are you going to become big one? I'm just speaking to a pile of goo that has.
Wow.
Oh my god.
You know what? That makes sense.
Well, you are
Well,
at 4.
who wrote all over the map even more now?
I gave up on watching the map. If I want to delete everything, I'll probably just clear it off at some point in time, but for now, it's like, whatever.
Nice roll.
Yeah.
Don't threaten us with whatever. It'll get weird.
I will delete it if it gets weird enough.
Is that a challenge?
Don't make me care about things. Lazy DM is your advantage in this case.
I don't know. Am I like starting to become conscious yet, or
You're starting to become... You're conscious... well, you kind of, like, get to conscious pretty rapidly. Like, over a couple of rounds, you start to, like, regain consciousness. Like, normally, when you go unconscious, at most, you kind of revert to more of, like, your base kind of form, you know? Which still has some kind of substance to it. You feel as though maybe because you were attempting to use your abilities as being amorphous, you had given up your shape for a while, and it's like, you feel strained, you know, like almost.
I'll start to pull myself together.
Mm-hmm. It'll take a little bit, but you should be able to.
So you start to see me congeal.
Gross.
Oh, it's growing! Max, you made him grow.
I guess I did. Speak to me, my friend. Are you able to talk?
I just like to imagine, like, the blob, like, all of a sudden, like, this mouth forms on it, and you're like...
That or
Yeah. I want to say don't ever do that again, but I think you saved our lives, so maybe do that again, but with caution.
we made it.
Yeah, we did, but our wagon sure didn't. And we also found the welcoming party.
Are we safe?
Can't tell. They look angry.
Yes, they're fine.
Lie to them, man, Wyntris.
Who's
we're
the
fine.
giants or the orcs?
The orcs look angry, the giants look neutral. I need to fix this.
Well, the orcs could kiss my ass. I'm gonna go lay down.
Hey, Claude, I don't think you have an ass yet.
Oh, it's true.
It'll be there in a minute. They can kiss it when it forms.
That's over the top of that there. Adjusting volume problems. Yay. Mm-hmm. Alright, Kazrin, why don't you give me a... Oh, God.
Tinker?
I'm gonna say Carpenter. You got Carpenter, right?
Yeah, I got carpenter.
Use Carpenter this time. You're gonna be
Yeah,
like...
you made carpenter.
Yeah.
I mean, with me, it's ultimately all the same.
Mm-hmm.
I have expertise in all of my tool proficiencies, and it's intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you didn't specifically make carpenter last time.
I did specifically make carpenter last time.
Yep. So why don't you roll me a Carpenter's tool, so we'll see how long it will take you. Okay. It's gonna take you a little while to repair it. Again, it's
Wow, I
pretty...
rolled shit.
It's pretty extensive damage, and you feel as though what you're going to have to do is you think you can repair it temporarily enough to, like, keep, as long as you're not, like, going too fast, it should be fine. But, like, you think that you're going to have to get to a place where you can get, like, a supply of, like, wood materials or, like, iron bars or something, or you can outright replace your axle.
I got hella iron bars, actually.
You do not have forging material used to process that very well.
Give me an hour and I can have smith's tools.
Yes, that will still take a while to do. If you want to
That's
take the
true.
time, you could
Someone should
forge. Repair.
I think someone should talk to the giants and make sure they're fine with us here before we linger too long.
I don't speak giant.
I'm terrified to do that.
Well, the
Unfortunately,
cartoon
you're
move.
our living tongue, so...
Alright, I'll do my best.
Take Wyntris with you.
I wave at the giants and smile.
It can't hurt.
I do the praying position, I'm like, please, 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 please. How far are we?
From the night giants, Max, don't worry. They can't crush your bones when I'm here.
It looks as though the way that they're kind of situated, at least in this area, is they're kind of up in the mountains, actually, here. The trail kind of moves in from the bridge, which is the large stone bridge you have, and kind of moves into a actually slightly more well-maintained pathway that seems to wind in through these mountains. These mountains are obviously much taller than the Ironclaw Mountains. They kind of span up much higher into the air. You can definitely feel that, though you're at the same elevation you were at before, you can feel like you are dwarfing the mountains in comparison to before, where you were kind of like up and down in amongst them. The giants themselves seem to be... you do not know if they have an actual settlement in this area, but you can see that they are definitely like positioning themselves, kind of just watching everything, and like... I wouldn't call them battlements, but areas that they're just kind of like, you can see that they're kind of just standing behind things. The giants are like dressed in various like kind of levers and furs. You see that each of them is like pretty rugged. There's male and females. They're very bronze-skinned. The females are kind of like, they're all very muscular, too.
How far were they relative to where our wagon crashed?
Probably the closest one would be about 40 feet above you right now. But they also tower. You can tell that they are probably... You can't get an exact height because you're not close, and you're not at great angle. You're thinking they're maybe like 25, 30 feet tall each. So they are big. Oof. The word giant aptly describes them.
Okay.
These seem to be some of the taller giants you've ever heard about. Like, because Maxwell, you've traveled. And I'll tell you, you've probably run into giants before. Your average, like, if you run into something like an ogre, which ogres do exist in this world, they're just kind of rare. Again, another rare species. They're around, like, 10 to 15 feet tall. Giants tend to be around 20. These guys are, like, another 5 to 10 feet tall, higher than your average giant that you kind of have met probably before.
Okay.
What do I know about the giants?
You know these are the stone giants. You know they are particular masters of effectively hawking things.
Like a loogie?
Excuse me? What did you
Like
just
boulders.
Oh.
Yeah,
I've only ever heard that term with loogie.
I know. You can use it to anything you kind of throw.
Throwing.
Yeah. They're really good at throwing boulders, though there are rumors that many eons ago, back in the day, when they battled together with a group of goblins, they are said to have been able to throw the goblins so high into the air as they were flying.
Fastball special?
Yes. I'm totally referencing a magic card where you can tap, basically give a creature flying until it turns, and it dies because it hits the ground. Because they just whah! So yeah, the stone giants. Not like effectively they look a lot more like people than the stone giants of the D&D book, but I'd probably use similar statistics.
But are they stone giants?
No, but if you do stone giants for like D&D, they look gray-skinned. These are normal, like bronze-skinned.
So can we talk to them, or...?
You could talk to them. You do not know their you can speak their
he
language,
could speak to them.
but no one else would know their language. You know that they are probably a reasonable tribe. Again, you know that they're here as an ancient kind of agreement. And, Wyntris, you know they mostly keep to themselves.
I talk to Wyntris and say, is there anything I should know before engaging in conversation with them?
They're good beans.
Okay. Excuse me. Tall one.
You're still, like, again, 40 feet away, yelling up to him.
Excuse me!
As I'm waving. Do they respond?
No response so far.
Can I walk up to it?
You can try. Right now, you don't see a way to go up the mountain other than climbing, currently.
How tall is this mountain?
40-foot, fairly steep climb up to where the first one is. And they are, like, probably some of them are up to 100 feet above you.
Okay, I'll try the 40-foot one.
Alright.
Actually, Wyntris, can you, like, sling me onto your back? You're good at climbing, no?
I'm very good at a sack of bones?
Yeah.
Okay, I can carry a sack of bones up the hill. It's not even that bad of a hill, like, look at it. Even a toddler could climb that. Like, serious.
Okay, less talky, more climby.
How I climb.
Athletics. Would roll me an athletics check. I don't know if you have advantage or something. Like, I think you have some bonuses from being core and stuff. I believe.
Yeah, it's just.
Dang.
All right, yeah. Okay, so you'll see Wyntris kind of sling you over her shoulders, and then just like using a combination of her own like handholds and occasionally like throwing out her hook and like hooking onto something and then using it to climb up partially. She'll just like expertly kind of like move up the wall, kind of like just like any great mountain climber. It seems almost natural for her. As she kind of moves up into the area and under the giants. The giant that's there, there are in fact 3 giants up in this area here. One of them seems to be standing in the front. Another one's kind of sitting down near what appears to be a fire, which is like a giant bonfire for you, because it is a giant-sized fire, with what looks to be an entire, some kind of like 3 goats cooking over it, spit it up.
Oh.
I was about to say, if it was a woolly mammoth, I would have freaked.
No, they only have some goats up. It's like you catching rabbits and putting them over the spit. They catch entire goats.
I wave vigorously at the giants. Kind of throwing some poor highs because I'm so vigorously waving high.
Mm-hmm.
I wave toward them too, albeit a little less enthusiastically.
The one that's kind of been like sort of like watching you the most is just kind of staring at you as you kind of arrive. Hasn't said anything.
Hello. It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Maxwell. This is Wyntris.
At least you're civilized enough to know our language, small one.
I'm trying to think of like what to say. I look at Wyntris and say, what should I ask them?
Ask if we can travel to the past their lands to my house. It's not really a house. It's more like a mountain, but you know what I mean.
Okay. Excuse me. I know we're travelers in these lands, but do we have your blessing for passing through these lands to reach my friend's house?
By laws of the land, you may pass. The road is yours.
What do you say? What do you say?
He said we can pass. The road is ours.
We will not interfere.
We sincerely appreciate it.
Just be warned. Off the road, you are not only entering into our territory for a time, but the dangerous territories of hunting beasts. We will not stop you from traveling as long as you are close to the road. But the things that are out there, we will not also save you.
We appreciate the helpful advice. I know we're new, but part of me is curious as to the customs of your people.
Which is weird.
The eyebrow's going to raise. He's going to kind of look you over. Please roll me persuasion.
Okay. Hey, that was pretty good.
Outsiders are normally not allowed, unless you bring trade. Do you bring trade?
I don't have like a particular item, but I have money. Does that count?
Your gold is not
Items
good
that
here.
we haven't sold?
Your gold would not be good here. Though gold is precious to us as many places. Your coins are a little bit more than trinkets.
It is a shame. Actually, it says I still have the ritual dagger in my inventory. From way back when.
You
Yes.
can trade our bird companion.
We have a
Our
bird companion?
bird companion.
Oh yeah, what was in the group thing?
We have a bird.
This guy.
Everybody forgets the goddamn bird until it's.
You forget the bird.
I just ignore the bird. I said it was there. If I needed to do something, I will.
We
Maybe
have
we
some
can-
magic
Does he
items.
also have an
Elf-
amulet without a
Oh.
chain and a gem?
Mm-hmm.
Why yes.
Wait.
What?
That was one of our magic items.
We didn't know what it did.
We do, I just don't remember what it was. We identified all of them.
We also have a golden flower.
That's
We do have
the
one.
it's a gilded lily.
Icy manipulator.
We have a clay pot of alcohol.
You have
Sorry,
an
gilded lotus. That's what it
You
is.
have a gilded lotus, an icy manipulator, and one of Urza's tomes.
It is an icy manipulator. It is not just a random amulet.
Well, what do
We
we
have a
get
clay
something
pot
more
of
rare?
alcohol.
We do have a clay pot. Well, we do have several valuable items for trade. If you are interested, I myself am a traveling merchant who is accompanied by his friends.
Again, eyebrow will raise. And kind of look to you. Your small vehicle seems damaged. If you can repair
That is
it
true.
enough, head down the road, 2 to the east. I'm sorry, 2 to the west. I have to remember which direction you're going. 2 to the west. Once there, turn on the trail. Head to the forest. Call it the name of Bromham. And perhaps you can gain an escort to the village.
This is the most kind, welcoming wagon we've ever had throughout our travels.
Kindness is not
Yes.
something you will necessarily get from us, but neither will you get hostility. All of you tiny people are the same. All of you either bring violence or peace, and it's impossible to know which. You are
That's fair.
deceitful.
At the very least, is there anything we can do to repay your neutrality?
No. Ours is an agreement forged eons ago, generations, many before my own. When my father's father's fathers was but young, I'm just going to note here, which you also, Wyntris would probably know, but Maxwell may not. Giants live a long time.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So, it doesn't sound like a lot of generations, but this guy could be really old.
Like several millennia old?
Probably not that long, but maybe could be easily like
A few hundred.
300 or 400 years old.
Oh, wow.
So we're talking this could be like a couple thousand years ago.
Okay, that's cool. Can you tell me more about the orcs who look to murder us on the other side of the trail?
They are violent creatures. But in days past, before the great curse came upon them, they were a blight upon many lands. An ancient doctrine was made down by a powerful warrior. In the time when the ice came, and the minotaurs came, a man who sought peace with them, the one who gave an agreement with us, asked to keep them safe. Our bovine-esque friends have long since been at peace with us since those days.
Bovine-esque, you say?
Minotaurs?
Oh, right. I thought there was like a... never mind, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's utterly ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Is. I see. Well, we best be on our way. We don't want to keep our friends waiting. But thank you. It was a pleasure to meet you. By the way, I don't think I got your name.
You did not, and in this case I would not give it. If I would give my name, you might use it in leverage negotiations. I'm in a place where I come home occasionally. Time is a different thing for us. Similar to the pointy ears. Though they seem to engage in much more violence among their kind. So my name is not to be given here. My position is not to be important. And I am no use of you in your negotiations. I'm merely a friendly soul which pointed you the way. One who sees peace, at least for now, in your words. I'm also gonna note, like, this guy has a really booming voice too. So
Yeah,
it's not,
yeah,
like,
it's
I'm
like
talking.
echoey, right?
So it's like it's very echoey and loud, but you can tell he's probably being soft-spoken for being like a 30-foot tall guy.
Right.
Probably has the voice box the size of the largest boombox you've seen.
Well, I understand your reasoning. At the very least, I'll call you friend. Sound fair?
As you wish.
Well then, take care, friend. We'll be on our merry way, and may you stay safe as well.
Mighty large one.
In the meantime, like, when Wyntris was kind of standing around, like, you could see that the other two were eyeing her up. Like, one of them offered you, like, part of a roast goat. It wasn't a goat. Like, it's whole roasted goat, and they're, like, pulling over the entire... Okay, so you, like, pulled off, like, a leg of goat. So you have, like, an entire goat leg?
I'm just munching on the goat leg while
Yeah.
I'm talking, because when
Oh
she's
my
like, know
lord.
what's happening. She was just like, she like
It's
gave
like-
a thumbs up, took the goat leg, and was like,
Yeah, it's like being at the Ren Fair, only, like, incredibly giant-sized. Because it's an entire leg of goat. So you'll turn around to see Wyntris with a leg of goat.
how'd it go? How'd it go?
She's probably covered in grease.
He went really well. They told us a place that we can go and fix our wagon.
So Cash can just go with here.
He could, but I'd rather not take my chances with the orcs.
The orcs can't cross the bridge.
They
Come
can't
again?
cross the Gummer Gnome.
We're fine here.
I really hope so. Let's go back down, shall we?
At least the orcs haven't built up enough forces that they feel like they could challenge the giants. Can't say they might not, but... Anyway. Alright, one of you make an acrobatics, or, athletics, or both of you make an athletics. Or you can make an acrobatics to fall and just see if you can break your fall, mostly.
I will jump.
Okay. Okay!
I panic and I'm like, but I needed you. I tried jumping down.
Okay.
I'm at the bottom waving my leg of goat.
Like, hey, Maxwell, follow me!
I jump.
Alright, I'm gonna see what that does to your bodies. Give
That's
me a
what I
second
heard.
here. Falling.
How
I
far?
offer
40
someone the leg
feet
to
you're
carry.
jumping?
It is 40 feet! I have to find falling in this book.
Are you gonna at least try to catch me,
Oh,
Wyntris?
it's 1d6 per 10 feet.
Yes,
Yeah,
but I know there's
so
acrobatics
36
that you can
damage.
reduce the damage, but I can't remember where they talk about that.
No, I totally
Probably
forgot that
right,
Maxwell needed help getting down, so I just jumped down and turned around and offered Carrie some.
And Carrie will take the meat and watch this show.
It
Beautiful.
was really nice, Carrie. They gave me food. They gave me food. You know how nice that is? They gave me food. It's so good. I don't know what they put on it, but it kind of tastes like.
I'm assuming
I
Wyntris
can't
landed
remember
on
where
her
this is
feet.
in here about the entire thing. I thought there was something about it.
There
Oh well.
is-
I can't find it. Whatever. I'll just say Wyntris takes slightly less d6 damages. Enjoy 2d6 for Wyntris. Ouchies, but not as bad. You'll take 7. Maxwell, no. Enjoy 20.
Why do I get 20?
Because I rolled 4d6.
He rolled 666.
Ah, beans, bro.
Ouch.
I rolled way higher on your damage.
I'm assuming I face plant.
You faceplant. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you land prone.
Ooh.
Are you okay?
No. Where's Radiant? I need help.
No, I can.
Please.
Oh wait, no, I can't do this. Yeah, you have to never even do this.
What's wrong, Maxwell?
He's like really hurt.
I think I broke a bone.
Well, that's bad. You're good at bones.
Okay, did his leg fall off when he jumped?
No.
So I'm like one
This
solid
isn't
object.
Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Radiant? Please.
Maxwell, you know it's not easy for me to, like, cure you, and it doesn't always work, possibly. Maybe we should just rest unless you know, naturally heal your bones up.
Alright. I'm okay with that.
I found the rule, by the way.
Ah, great.
For every 5 points that this check exceeds, reduce the potential fall height by 10 feet.
Okay, what's the basic DC they give?
Check
They don't.
For every 5 points, the check exceeds, then exceeds 5. Reduce the potential fall by 10 feet.
You choose. You pick.
Okay.
Me?
I think if you were saying like
The
if it's
DM
D10,
Oh yeah.
then by succeeding with 20, Wyntris would have been reduced by 2d6, which is what you did anyway.
Okay, so it's fine.
Yeah, so you got it.
Yeah, and he didn't roll high enough to reduce it, so.
You.
Yeah.
So,
Basically, she just like landed on a rock and like stubbed, like she got like that imprint on, like she stepped on the light when she jumped out.
Maxwell, did you break a bone?
Oh, I probably broke several.
I mean, it's pretty hard not to break a bone. Your only bone.
Less
Why'd you
puns,
go into
more
that,
sleeping,
Maxwell?
please. Gee, I wonder why.
Why didn't you just jump down?
Wyntris, Maxwell doesn't have the same acrobatic abilities that you have.
But whenever we're fighting, I see him rolling around.
I'm blessed with the gift of gab, not the gift of jumping down.
You ever see him when he like scared that one person with his saber? He kind of just like rolled away like 6 times.
Yeah, but Barry, remember we talked about this? People have different skills. His skill is, evading combat. Yours is jumping off of high places and remembering to roll.
But he's already got the rolling down.
Yes,
Rolling
well,
in the combat.
yeah, in combat situations, not down a hill.
Well, I guess I shouldn't have thought too much because he is just like an empty skull.
Duly noted.
I'd offer you alcohol, but I don't think that affects you.
I don't think so.
It goes right through him.
So, I didn't mention this, but the giants up there told us that they can fix our cart. We just have to go a certain path.
I thought you said that there was a place we could rest while we fixed our cart. I don't remember you saying they would fix our cart.
It's hard to think when you're in pain, alright?
Oh, you're
All
fine.
up and
You
trying
want
to
some
rest
goat
here.
naps?
No,
Got some-
I was a vegetarian in my waking life.
I'll offer the rest of my meat to cows.
Oh, I'm gonna fucking devour it.
Here you
I mean,
go.
it's fresh mountain goat.
Probably delicious.
Yeah. Slow roasted over some a nice bonfire.
Freshly squeezed out.
It was
Let's
very.
put it that way, please.
I mean, they probably could have just be like, we need some it's a fresh drink of goat's blood.
Oh,
And
It's
milk.
even worse.
No, you could use it as like a really weird marinade. Or like
No.
the base for a maybe broth.
It can be a mixture of goat's blood and milk.
No.
That's a demon.
Fertilizer. You can make it fertilizer for roses.
That's true.
How about no? How
No,
about
blood's a really good fertilizer.
I'm still talking about the, braising goat meat in goat blood and goat milk. That sounds gross.
They do make.
Yeah, I agree. That sounds gross.
They do actually sometimes use goat milk to make as a base for food from goats.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, but not goat blood as well.
Yeah, well, if you're
Milk
cooking
is-
the meat, there's
milk
going to be
is
some
a
blood
good
involved.
Marinade base. A milk-based marinade makes sense. I'm also.
Kaz, you know that if it's not going to be too long, if you are planning to go to some place and get better repairs, you could probably temporarily repair things right now for pretty quickly. It probably would at least take you an hour, but you could temporarily fix things definitely.
Right, you don't have
Yeah, I could do a patch job.
Yeah, it definitely would last you till what sounds like a couple of miles down the road. Turn off into the forest area, call for someone, and hopefully get an escort to a village of some kind or something.
That'll work.
Okay, Maxwell, you can spend hit dice to heal up in the meantime. Wyntris, you could do the same. You get a short
Do I
rest.
need to do that too?
You want
I
to get a
don't know
short?
what I was technically at.
4. You're at
Okay.
4.
How do we recover those?
You can roll hit dice. Hit dice you recover with a long rest. You can get a short rest in. Wyntris seems
So
fine.
you roll. Oh, also as a bard, you have a special thing that you can do during short rest.
You have Song of Rest.
Song of Rest.
Yeah, which you can add an extra D6 to
Or
everybody's
Song
healing.
of Healing, I think, no?
It's like, it's one of those, but you... Sorry, you can add an extra D6 to all the healing.
Oh, baby.
So, Joe, you
I
can
do
add...
that for everyone,
Yeah,
obviously.
you do that to everybody. So, Joe, you can add a D6 to whatever you rolled.
I'm gonna roll 2 hit dice.
And roll your D6 and then see what you're at. You can always roll more hit dice then, too.
I had 4 from before. Did those never recover? Or was I supposed to raise those when I get a long rest?
You should have all of them right now.
You should
Okay,
have all of
okay,
them right now.
cool.
You should have 8.
Okay, I'll roll 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
You can
just
click
click
hit
on it.
dice. You can click hit dice. And it will do it for you.
There you go.
oh
Nice.
Oh shit!
Damn!
There goes all of your damage.
There goes all your damage. So you're just like,
Damn, good.
just like,
I'm finally back up to full.
you used a lot of hit
I
dice.
have
didn't
2 hit dice left.
you? Yeah.
Well, you get a D6, no?
I did do the D6 as well. I was at 4 out of 51.
Yeah. Yeah, you took a shitload of damage doing something pretty epic. So I'm just saying, you
That's
held.
fine. I made it possible to escape.
Yes.
That's true. Yeah, that was worth.
So in the as you're kind of all resting up, Kazrin puts basically a basic patchwork together, and you can get the wagon going. It'll be a short trip. It's only a couple miles down the area because you said about 2 miles to the west. You can tell that you're still in the lower parts of the mountains. You still feel like on this trail here, because definitely there's still a lot more trees and stuff, and you kind of have areas of valleys. But again, you're not sure how many trails head up deep into the higher peaks of the mountains, because they're kind of insanely high. Eventually, though, about 2 miles down the way, you're kind of going to move into a valley area on the trail, and you will see there is an offshoot. It seems a lot rougher. This road here, as I said, it's much more maintained on this side of it, but even so, the maintenance is not a lot. It's not like it's a paved road. It's more like a pathway that's people trod on, keep a lot of pants off of. This area seems a lot more overgrown and naturey, but it still seems to be a trail of some kind that you can kind of come across. Your wagon would fit along the trail.
I have a question.
Sure.
Does Wyntris know roughly how far away they are from her area?
Unfortunately, no. I was putting the core in the kind of closer to where the Red Mountains come in. The Red Mountains aren't much of mountains anymore. They've kind of been broken down a little bit because they're a hugely iron-rich area that have been mined a lot. The Hurloon Mountains kind of impact into it again. So it's again another transition between like 3 mountain ranges which kind of hit together. Though technically they could probably be considered one mountain range. They do have differences between them. You are probably more southwestern area of the mountains, and you're kind of in the central eastern part of it. So I mean, you do have to cross a big chunk of the mountains, and you're not on a road you're necessarily familiar with, but you know a lot of these trails do crisscross the mountain ranges. You probably have taken some of these trails on like trading missions and stuff. I'm gonna give you probably think you know where you are. Like, you think, like, if you follow this trail for a while, you could probably lead them into an area. You know there's a Hurloon village you probably want to, a minotaur village you probably want to stop by, about in the center of the mountain range. That would be, and then from there you definitely know the trail to your home from there. But you could lead them. You're thinking, probably as long as this road maintains real well maintained, which it seems like it is, you could probably get to the village in about 3 days time, and about 2 more days to your village then. So about 5 days away. Again, you could try a different route that might be more direct, but you are less familiar with it then. This is the route.
No, I wanted to know how long.
Yep.
My character I just want to know how long we took.
Yeah, you're pretty close to home in comparison to how you've been in a long time. I mean, like, as much as you've been approaching where your home is, slowly but surely over this time, and now you're reaching an area that you can kind of point out, I'm a hop, skip, and a jump away from home.
I've seen this rock before.
Exactly. So you were at the crossroads that was described to you. Maxwell, you know that you were told to get off the road and then call out for Bromham.
Bromham!
What? Why are you calling me that weird name?
Because he's the guy that's gonna help our wagon. Bromham!
You're currently on the main road. You weren't told to call for here, so nothing happens.
Oh, my bad. I got impatient.
Yeah, it's fine.
But I thought that Cass is going to
Again, I did the patch job. It's the best I could do with what I had.
But you're Cass.
I am Kazran, you're right. I am Kazran, and I'm really good at doing patch jobs and creating weapons of mass destruction. This is, however, a cart.
Who's driving the cart?
Isn't Wyntris the best one out of us?
I've been driving the cart, I'm pretty sure.
I think you've been driving the cart. Nim could probably help out. He's not.
Is the horse still hopped up on magic?
No, by now it's no longer hopped up in magic. The horse
It's
probably
only
just
very
seems
tiny
like
cars.
the horse is feeling a little bit exhausted. You probably would like the rest you had there probably helped it a bunch, but it's still probably like it got hopped up in magic and did crazy shit for a little bit there. So it's, you know, it certainly needed the calming down for a couple of hours for a patch job to like relax itself.
Well, the reason I'm asking who's driving it, they're the ones who need to pull it off the side of the road.
Yes. I mean, if Maxwell wants to be in front with Wyntris, he can instruct her where to go to pull off onto this kind of, as I said, much more rugged trail. Your cart fits, but it definitely feels like you're just kind of going a little bit more off-road. It's you know, like a rough path. It's barely cut out. Feels a lot more like a like an animal trail or something than anything.
Can't be any more off-road than we already been.
It's true.
You have been in some extreme situations.
We've been on air.
We also were literally off-road when we jumped the ramp.
That's what I just said.
Ah, yes.
So, you'll move a little ways into the forest area until it's kind of like... This forest is definitely nowhere near as impressive as Lanowar, but it's certainly still decent-sized trees, stretching up into, like, 40, 50 feet tall. Probably enough that if the giants that you know about were in amongst these trees, you might even not notice them. It certainly would be like, one of us walking through, like, a grove of plants that are just barely above our heads. You're gonna be hidden, and, it might be like a little stuff in the way, but you can do it. I'm guessing eventually you're going to call out for Bromham?
Bromham!
Why do you say it like that?
Oh, Hammy one.
Because it's a very powerful name, and it's a giant, and I want to do him justice.
And it sounds cool.
Alright.
Shut up, Kaz. You're not a part of this.
I'm on the cart.
Yeah, he repaired the cart.
It's like you're arguing with someone in the back. It's just like...
That's exactly.
Nice to him!
No. He took all my meat.
You gave it to me.
I thought you'd give some back.
You should have specified. Normally when someone hands you a big thing of meat, it's because they're done with it, so then you can have the rest of it.
I think the ham is here.
As you, like, turn around, seemingly emerged from the woods, is a giant. Much taller than the ones you just previously met. I think if we're talking about, like, if you're comparing heights of people, this would be, like, the 7-foot guy, but he's the 7-foot guy in giant form, so yeah.
So he's like 50 feet.
Not that bad. More like 30, 35,
I thought that's what the other dude was.
They were, like, 30 feet tall. I mean, adding 5 feet is not, like, a huge thing, but still. Anyway, I mean, this is a huge thing.
I wait.
You call my name, tiny ones.
I do. I've been told by a very friendly giant that you're able to help fix carts.
No. He turns to leave.
Give us a place to rest while we fix the cart.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. I meant to say you'd give us a place to rest while the cart gets fixed.
There are plenty of places to rest while you repair your vehicle.
Didn't you say someone sent us?
Someone sent us.
That's not what you originally asked for.
I'm sorry, my brain forgot. What was the thing?
You were asking about trade.
Oh, my apologies. My mind is slipping from the long travel. I'm here to inquire about trade.
I see. And the repairing of your vehicle was just a side thing. No, damage to touch a tiny thing can be understandable. Fine then. Bromham, Titan of the Woods, shall accompany you where you need to go.
Appreciate it, Bromham. I'm sorry for the misunderstanding.
Disattach your horse.
All right.
What is he speaking? Is he speaking giant?
He's gonna kind of lean back and like breathe in, and let like this kind of like utteral call, like just like this like kind of like thing that just kind of echoes the woods. As you'll hear birds kind of fly out. What?
Why am I picturing the Dark Crystal?
It kind of a little bit like that guttural kind of growl. I was thinking more like a little bit more Viking, but
For some reason, I was thinking those dudes in the
Dark Crystals do that too, so I can accept that. They do that also, so that's why it's acceptable. Anyway,
I translate all this stuff, by the way, to the party.
you cannot translate that noise, as you do not really have a translation of it.
Oh,
Actually,
well, everything except that, I guess.
Yeah.
Should we repeat it?
Mm-hmm. He could actually repeat it just because of magic, not because he could actually repeat that.
But he could just be like, and he also says, "Oh."
He can make the sound, but it doesn't have the same effect if he makes it, because he doesn't have the same like size and like actual lung capacity to make the same kind of guttural noise that it is. It sounds the same, but like it just doesn't match up quite the same. You know, it's the difference between being actually next to a whale and hearing its call, or being like it on, you know, recordings. It kind of works the same. Anyway, 3 other giants will emerge from the woods, seemingly like appearing almost out of nowhere, as if they can kind of like be hidden here. One of them is going to reach down and pick up your horse and just kind of put it under their arm and just kind of sling it and walk with it. And then Bromham is going to actually kind of reach down and do the same with your entire cart.
Oh, you giants are very forward, I see.
They will start moving into the forest. As much as you have a view of what's going on, it's kind of difficult to follow where you're going because they're kind of cross-countrying through some forest, and they seem to know where they're going, and you have no idea where they're going. It seems to be a confusing maze of trees and such, eventually leading deep into the woods. It'll take you a while of walking along with Bromham leading you. He is stoically quiet. The one giant is nearby with your horse, and you can occasionally see it. The other 2 seem to be following you, but you do occasionally lose sight of them as they seem to like move in and out of the trees with swiftness. You know, they probably are giants with a few levels of ranger. So screw you guys. They can ranger stuff.
Oh boy.
I've seen ranger things.
Eventually, though, they will sort of like break away from the forest and move on to like what seems to be a side of a mountain, where you see Bromham just like take one hand and like kind of reach up high and just drag himself up like what seems to be just like a cliffside, which would have been like, it's like a 40-foot cliff, like near sheer for you guys, and he just reaches up, pulls himself up, cart and all, you know, up to do it, and just climbs up with ease.
This man is my man. Oh,
Yeah.
We've got a connection, and I will not vote him off.
How giant size is my giant form?
You are approximately around 20 feet tall.
You would not fit.
You are more of a standard size giant. Granted, again, giants do vary in size, but
You're like a little baby giant.
I mean, there are
Big.
I'm like a teenager.
to them, but again, like you in other groups of giants, you would be standard size. You know, that's the thing, is it depends on the type of giant.
Wait, does that mean that baby giants are the size of a normal human?
Yeah, they're just like giant toddlers. It depends on the giants too. Like if they're 20 foot tall, you have to think about how big they're 4 times the size of a person, so their babies are going to be 4 times the size. These
so
are like
babies are average man size.
Yeah, these are 6 times the size of it. So yes, a baby would be average man size. If a baby is about a foot long and they're 6 times the size of people, yes, it will be 6 times the size of the baby, and it will be a 6-foot baby.
Wow.
6-foot baby.
6-foot baby.
I hate to be the mother.
I mean, she would have been fine with it. She's big enough.
6-foot baby is the quote of this episode.
That's just the new title.
Yeah, that's the title of this episode is 6-foot baby.
What do you got there?
They'll continue to kind of climb up the mountainside for a while, and you can see that you're going a couple 100 feet above where the forest is below. This is definitely something that your cart couldn't do normally, and it seems very difficult for anyone to get here. But they're climbing it with ease as if it's just like climbing a simple area for a person. You know, they have the size that they could just reach up these massive cliff sides and then just climb up onto them. Eventually, though, you will kind of enter into like what seems almost like a sort of small plateauish area up on the side of the mountain, where he'll walk for a little while going down another trail, kind of going around the spire of the mountain. Before you begin to notice, you're entering into an area where you can see these like stone buildings built into the side of the top of the peak of this mountain. You are perhaps now, you're not quite in the range where you guys would have to worry about the air, but it definitely is much chillier, and you can tell it already the air is beginning to thin up here. Wyntris is fine. She's climbing into high mountain areas. But the rest of you definitely can, those of you that do breathe or can mimic breathing, can feel the air is just different. As now you are arriving at the village of the stone giants. and we will take our first break here and continue with it after we return. So if you need to get bathroom break, snack, drink, anything like that, go ahead and do it. We'll be back in a little bit. Back in.
Are you okay, Lance?
We're theoretically all alive. Theoretically. Hi, welcome back. I think Lindsay's mostly alive. She theoretically almost died, but it's fine. She came back.
In pog form.
I stubbed my toe.
Oh.
Oh,
Ow.
sorry.
Ouch.
I'll write a very moving eulogy.
Low did Lindsay's toe get smacked, and low was it
My
powerful
controller
and deadly.
landed on my foot, then on the plate.
Ah. So,
That's what
if you've just joining us now, our group here has crossed over into the Hurloon Mountains and made, I'm not going to say friends, but peaceful contact with the stone giants that protect this area of the mountain range. And now they have been effectively escorted on a trip that would be incredibly difficult for them as tiny little normal-sized people. You know, climbing sheer mountain cliffs up like a gigantic mountainside, like maybe another 1,000 feet up, into a mountain where you're coming across a village which seems to be built into the spire itself. What you can see is that it seems like you can see all these like houses and stuff built into the side of the mountain, and the path you're going on leads into like this kind of like almost hollowing out in the center of the peak, where you can see like there's these lights coming in from all these like places that are like built into the side, like almost carved out. And there's also like houses on the inside here, built on different levels, that you can see like there's giants that seemingly like just kind of climb up the walls into their houses, into this place inside the mountain peak. And there seems to be like all kinds of trade and like maybe like work and stuff going on. As you kind of left in, Bromheim will kind of just place you down. The other giant that was with him is going to put the horse down, and the four of them that kind of accompany you will just leave as you're left here kind of in the middle of this area. There's some eyes on you, but mostly they're kind of going about their own business. It's more of like, who are the strangers kind of thing. Eventually this giant who seems like definitely he's older in age. You're not exactly sure how old he is because you know they do live longer. Probably not quite as long as elves, but definitely long-lived. But he's kind of got like a long white beard, very bushy white hair. He's kind of like a little hunched over, which means he's only like seemingly 25 feet tall instead of 30. You know, got that hunch over that like, drops your height a little bit. Kind of walks with what looks to be like a small tree as a walking stick, kind of moving up to you. Hello, tiny travelers. What brings you to our village? You obviously have called upon Bramham for your delivery. What trade do you bring?
Is he still speaking in only giant?
Yes.
So at least I understand.
Okay.
I look to the party and say, okay, so I kind of promised this guy trade. What do we have that we can give him?
I have some large clothes.
We don't have much.
I have some things.
I have a ritual dagger.
That's
I have my
nice.
tail, but I'd rather not be sold into giant slave.
That's not gonna happen, Wyntris.
I have 10 gems and five pieces of jewelry.
Ooh, oh, those would be great for trade.
I have
They're
three.
giants.
I have 3 trashy romance novels.
I don't think
Oh, plus some.
there's jewelry
I want to make it next.
these people.
But it might be rare. No?
They live in the mountains.
I also have wine.
You do have one.
yeah.
Ooh,
I also
have wine and also a random bottle of liquor.
I also
Okay.
have random bottles of liquor. That's true.
We have plenty of alcohol that we would love to trade.
We have a lot of alcohol.
Well, it would probably be like a shot for them is the only issue.
Yeah, it would be like a shot.
Oh.
While it's like a bottle that would have like 10 shots for like one of you, it would just be a shot for them.
Offer the small gemstones.
And we also have gemstones that we'd like to offer.
And a large
And-
set of clothing.
And a large set of clothing. And a ritual dagger.
Oh, and we also have money. There's that.
They don't like money, unfortunately.
Oh. So you gotta tell us these things. We can't speak giant.
I can understand them.
Feel free to use
I
the
can't
market
speak giant.
then. When
We'd
your
love to.
business is concluded, come to me. If you need a place to rest, feel free to use that spot over there. It is where travelers rest. The great fire will be lit at night. You will be invited to the feasting.
Sounds like a plan. I guess we can mosey on over to the market now.
What's the
The
plan?
market's not much of a market. It just seems to be like a number of like pelts of like what look to be giant bears or mammoths or something, like, you know, like set up, kind of lying around with like what looks to be like made goods. Someone's got like what looks to be various types of large pottery, definitely not sized for you. Another one seems to have other kinds of like hides and pelts of various animals kind of lined up. You know, one of them seems to have like some weaved baskets. Another one seems to actually be brandishing metal tools and weapons that it seems like he's been making. But of course they are literal giant sized. So, I mean, there doesn't seem to necessarily be a lot that is sized for you.
They don't have an apothecary.
Do they have anything like
None that you
wood
see set up here.
that we might be
They
able to
do
make?
have wood. Yes.
Do they? This is very important. Do they have gallons of oil?
No.
Darn it.
Fuck. We need to replace that.
We do. For the next heist.
Wyntris is going to be entranced by one of those big pelts of fur you saw.
Mm-hmm.
What kinds are they?
Giant bears. Probably like some kind of mammoth. One of them seems to be like of a kind of like a hairy oxen of some kind. Probably a couple like goat hides too. Goat hides again are like more like they're rabbit pelts. You know, you can sell rabbit pelts for various uses for like smaller things, but they've got goat hides for that. It seems like, you know, things like the large oxen kind of creatures and like the mammoths are probably for like the big like normal pelts. You know, they got some of.
Maybe we should first see about trading for some wood.
How big is
There's one of the giants that seems to be carving some stuff. Sitting on like a vine pelt. That looks to be like a massive bear.
how big
Maybe
is
we
it?
should talk to him.
What was that, Wintress?
I want to know how big the bear pelts are.
That would be a huge bear. Huge sized bear. So like house-sized bear.
House size?
House-sized.
Damn.
I thought they'd be like.
Like, normal bears are large. They can like stand up like 10 feet. These are the bears that would stand up to be like 15 foot or like 10 foot at the shoulder. So twice the size of your average bears that we have. These are like, you know, the ancient prehistoric bears.
But are
Are
they
there any
smarter than
small bear hides?
Damn it. I was gonna make the Yogi Bear joke.
Are there only giant bear hides? Are there no small bear hides?
I probably have a couple small bear hides if you want to go to the person with hides.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
I
Problem
do.
is there's only one person who can speak to him.
Mm-hmm.
I'll figure it out.
The giant says
You're
something
just
to
gonna
you.
walk off?
Roll an insight check, Wyntris, as the giant says something to you as you're looking through the pelts.
Well, see, lucky.
Oh god! Okay! So, though Wyntris does not understand the language, she can like, use a combination of her own body language and like pointing at certain things to kind of communicate what she kind of is interested in. What are you trying to trade for a pelt?
Oh no, I only have money. I don't have anything.
That's true. The rest of us do, though.
Wyntris just gives everything the carry.
But we probably should first focus on getting the wood we need.
Wyntris kind of just like sadly shrugs
Oh.
and walks away.
Mhm.
We can visit that after we get what we actually need first.
So go to the wood carver. Do you need some wood?
I think that's what we should do.
Maxwell, you're the communicator.
I can't speak to them.
I agree. We should get some wood. Excuse me, good sir.
What is it, tiny man?
We're interested in trading for that good wood you have there.
I have much wood.
Yeah, much cheap.
You do. Pray tell, what is the going rate for it?
What do you have to trade, small man? What do you have to trade?
Well, I start with my ritual dagger. I have one of these, finely adorned.
He'll pick
very
it up like barely and be like, very tiny toothpick. No.
In our culture, it's called a dagger, but okay.
He's probably would be considered like gargantuan size. It is so tiny compared to him. It really would be
Okay.
like a toothpick. He's like, it's like a teeth
Wait,
cleaner.
no, it's more like a sewing like pin. Kind of sharp, but like you can do it over you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we also have these lovely shots of wine for you.
Drink is good. What kind of drink do you have?
Party?
We've got so
I
much
have-
wine. We have,
I have one bottle of wine and a bottle of random liquor.
I also have a bottle of wine to contribute
I don't have any of this.
because you don't drink.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I also have 2 bottles of wine and 2 bottles of old liquor.
Barely newer.
How does this seem for a trade?
2 bottles of your hard things. Your hard drinks. Travelers' hard drinks are good.
How much wood will that get us?
He's actually going to take like a relatively carved block of wood, about 5 feet long, and it's like it's been shaved down already to almost like square form, so it has been worked on. So it's like 5 feet long, like 2 feet wide, square. So pretty big chunk of wood. Definitely enough to like using carpenter's tools to make a new axle from.
Okay. I look to Kazra and say, hey, world's greatest mechanic, what do you think? Is this enough?
You are all putting a lot of pressure on my ability to fix the cart. I work on boats. I mean, maybe I should be able to like get it to work. I just like an excess of material could be useful.
I
But
agree.
Kaz, you're the only one who can fix things. All I can do is
Well,
climb.
could we ask him if he could carve it into an axle for us?
I mean, an axle is easy. It's just a fucking tube. Not even a tube. It's just a fucking pole. I can do a goddamn pole.
That's all
Shit.
we need.
Well, there
And
might be like
that's
other
just
parts that if he wanted to like fully
nice.
repair the wagon, he'd probably have to replace some other stuff too. But like,
What else do we need aside from wood?
some components of like a couple of the wheels and stuff, some repairs to them. There's probably a couple broken spokes, things like that. I mean, like, there's a big hole in the bottom of your wagon that needs to be repaired.
Which is still wood.
That's also wood, yeah.
Yeah, it is all
Okay.
wood-based, so a big chunk of wood that you can carve out yourself and cut up yourself would not be out of the question of usefulness.
Okay. We also have some lovely gemstones we'd like to trade.
Drink!
Just give him the drink. We're just gonna go. He just wants the alcohol.
Okay, I give him the alcohol, but I'm trying to like also mention that I want more wood.
We don't need too much wood. I can do a lot of mending and just fixing and
But is that enough for what we need to move this thing?
fucking probably.
It's a lot of wood.
Hard.
It
Okay.
is You have to remember, as I said, it's like a 2 foot by 2 foot thing that's 5 feet long. That is a lot of wood.
Okay.
God,
All
that's
right.
a lot of wood.
You have a deal,
Yeah.
good sir.
It is 20 square feet of wood he's offering you.
That's
It's a
lot
tree.
of wood.
You have a deal, good
Wood
sir.
that you can give out in like 2 years, okay?
He is offering you, yes, a tree.
What
Pine
the
tree
fuck?
for Christmas.
He's offering you a squared
All right,
off tree.
friends. Give him the drinks.
He'll take the 2
I-
bottles and he'll just
I took one. I
Yeah.
took my hard liquor off.
he'll take the two and one of Carrie's, one of like Claude's, and he'll just kind of go. Mm.
Oh.
Just
All
like,
right, that's
dump
that's
them
okay.
down.
I'm glad you like it. It's
And
important.
he'll just give you the bottles back.
Now you
Okay,
gotta-
I got an empty bottle.
If this
Well,
was
if we
Zelda,
ever
it'd
get,
be a
if
rare
we ever get
commodity.
more oil, we can make Moktovs out with these.
We could.
No, this is the first step in the OOTR randomizer. You need the empty bottles.
It's true. Great. Who's going to be carrying the wood? I say not it.
Just put it in the fucking bag.
Are you sure that can fit in the bag?
How
Can
heavy?
we put that in the bag?
How heavy is the wood?
And how
very.
so? With how big it is, it should still fit. I think.
I can fit 113 more pounds.
I think it's going to weigh a lot more
Let
than
us
that,
see
honestly.
here. Give me a second here.
It depends, like what kind of wood is it?
Mm-hmm.
Are there any termites in it? Does it have a soul?
Okay, the heaviest wood is 85 pounds per green cubic foot. This is not
And
the
there's
heaviest.
40.
There are 40
40
cubic foot. Yes. Oh, no, it was 20. It was 20 because it was 2 by 2 by 5. So that's 4 by 5, which is 20. So it's not that bad. It is... It still is probably like 50 pounds, and therefore it still is like, oh god, like 1,000 pounds of wood.
No. Here's what we're going to do. Drag it.
I think you confused me for someone a bit more physically capable.
Hey, I'm
I have
here.
ideas. Don't you have poles?
I have a ladder.
Why don't we just cut it down into smaller, more manageable pieces?
We could do that, but we could also just lay the poles on the ground and roll it across.
Could we
the
ask
pole.
him to do that?
I don't have poles.
Could you ask him if he could cut it in at least half?
I don't suppose you offer a moving service for this piece of wood, or cutting service. Us small folk aren't very strong.
Ugh. He'll take the time and like bring out like a saw that's as big as one of you, and he'll just like kind of like expertly cut it in the like down the middle, seemingly without even measuring, just go straight down the middle. And then each of those 2 pieces, he's gonna kind of break into it. So he's like, there's 4 pieces down. So there's 4 250-pound logs that you have now.
That's an improvement.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can say that.
So now you have like square foot, 5 foot long, just huge ass logs still. They would fit in the wagon.
It's good.
How would you try to push one?
Alright, Wyntris, you can carry one if you would like to.
I
The
would
rest
like,
will just put in the cart.
I would like to try to push one first.
You could push
I
it.
think we first would need to We need to fix the cart before adding weight to it.
No, I patched the axle.
I
Right,
don't
but don't
think
we
that
need to
it will
fix
carry
the axle completely and the wheels?
Kaz, you think probably like with the material you have here, it's cut down. You could probably cut some things apart and probably fix it up because you're just gonna make a replacement axle's not too difficult. You think you can at least minimum 8 hours of work. You could probably get it in. It might take you more depending on how. AKA, it's again one of those how well do you roll this check kind of things.
Damn. All right, let's roll this fucking check.
All right.
Wood carvers.
Yes, wood carvers.
Wait, wood carvers or carpenters?
Let's do carpenter's tools.
Again, it's essentially meaningless. I have
Yes.
a plus 10 in all
Mhm.
check, except for these tools where I have a plus 8.
Yeah. Get ready
I have
for
a
it.
plus 8 too on thieves' tools.
What will the cavalry roll? All right.
15.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You think in about you definitely think in 8 hours you could get most of the work done, but I'd say like probably a day's worth of work you could fully repair the cart and make it that like if you had to like race it again or if you got in a situation that was very stressful, it'd probably still be good to go. That would be replacing all the parts. You think that's about enough time you could do it?
All right. It would take some time and some doing, and coffee. Does coffee exist in this universe?
Probably. Yeah, I'd say there's some kind of coffee. It's probably not as like good or refined as our kind. Again, there's global trade, and there's literally a continent that's very jungly, Jamora. You know, so they probably have coffee there. I'm gonna give you a good chance of coffee coming from Jamora. And then
Right.
since
If
there's-
any of you can get me some coffee, this will go by swimmingly.
They probably don't have a lot in Ariona unless you go to Benalia. You probably have been like sadly exhausted of coffee for some time.
No coffee, then this will go by miserably.
Sure, Carrie can give you some drugs.
I don't have those types of drugs.
I still have some weed.
Yeah, that's what I got.
It's not the motivational kind of
You
drug.
need powder.
Hey, Max, can you ask them if they have any cool drugs that I could try?
I will not give in to your habits or addiction, unfortunately.
Then can you at least help us trade for a bear pelt for Wyntris? She really wants one.
I'll see what I can do. Where is the guy?
The one with the pelts.
Ah. Alright, let's try and help out Wyntris.
Mm-hmm.
I wave happily back at the guy that I sadly walked away from earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Hi there, my friend is interested in a pelt.
Yes. She did not seem to have anything directly on her to trade. What do you have to offer for your friend?
Well, we have these gemstones.
These are very tiny.
They are, but they're incredibly valuable.
I could perhaps come up with a... no. These are very tiny, and we often do not use such tiny gems. It is rare that we use gems in our jewelry because such tiny ones are difficult to work with.
Mind you, we still have a bottle of that old alcohol.
Maybe we could help him put the gems into something.
I am not a jeweler, though. You would have to speak to one of our master craftsmen.
What about alcohol as a trade?
We have like 5 bottles of wine. Tell them we have like 5 bottles of wine.
We have 5 of the most lovely bottles of wine that you've seen across the continent.
That's not true, but go
It's
for
like
it.
a glass of wine.
Please roll deception. Let's see how well you roll to convince this person.
Oh yeah, this was crap wine, wasn't it?
It's
It's shit.
Drink wine.
shit wine.
That's why you
Fingers
kept
crossed.
it.
That's what we drink it.
Ooh,
we Gucci, dude.
No,
Fuck
you
you.
can't do
Why not?
Huh. Interesting. I am not much of a drinker myself, but I might be able
I
to
have
trade with such a
large
thing.
set of clothing.
No, they're gargantuan.
Maybe for one of their children.
Okay, yeah, I can see that maybe. I think it's like ugly clothes probably. I don't know. I can't remember.
Nice traveler's clothes. I bought a set so when I change in one of my larger forms, I can still wear it.
Oh, you're just offering the large clothes, yeah.
Yeah, so this would be like teenage clothes, basically, for them.
Yeah, that's true. Probably adolescents. Judging that their babies are man-sized.
Yes.
Oh,
Adolescents.
Uh-huh.
When you're like teenage.
No, that's like 9, 10-year-olds in
Okay,
age, you know?
fine. Preteen.
Yeah, preteens. Anyway,
so it's cool.
they will take the traveler's clothes and the wine for the bear pelt and another pelt of your choosing if you want one.
Yes.
We can match, Carrie.
I didn't need the one. So
What were the other ones being offered?
Like giant elephant, large kind of woolly yak ox things.
Auroch.
Can I
Orcs,
appraise
yeah.
any of these to see how much they're actually worth?
Sure. Roll me a. Oh, I don't know.
I'm sorry, I know that's kind of spur of the moment.
I know. I think other older editions usually used intelligence for appraise, I believe. So roll me kind of an intelligence to kind of judge it. I would say, okay, well,
Well,
No, fuck off.
I ain't no smart merchant.
I would say at this point in time, it's less that you're not a smart person, and more that you don't really trade in furs, and never have really dealt with trading in furs. It's one of the things you never really got into, so you never really understood how the market worked for furs of any kind. You know that pelts do have a value to them, but it also depends on
quality.
You don't know you're looking at it and it looks okay quality, but you're not actually sure of the actual quality because you're not really good at judging that even. It's like you just don't know.
Can I pick the elephant one?
It's like a mammoth,
Aw.
yes. You can go mammoth.
Okay, I'll do that.
It would probably fit over most of your wagon. It is very large.
It'll help waterproof it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. It totally will.
And it also would probably help keep the wagon warm because you have a giant
is
hide over
true.
top of it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we got some cool aesthetics now.
Yeah. Your Conestoga wagon has been retrofitted with elephant or mammoth hide, covering.
So did he take all of the wine?
Yeah.
I would
I-
assume
take
so,
3
because
of
those are
them.
huge.
I'll take 4 of them. You can keep 1 wine bottle, and I've taken the.
I'll give up my
clothes.
other wine bottle.
Yeah.
Wait, so where was all our wine? Who was all the wine that we
I
had?
had-
I didn't have
I
any of
had
it.
2 bottles.
In one bottle.
That's all of
That's
it then.
4.
That's 4. I thought someone had a 5th. Someone was saying 5 for a
Nope.
reason. Then I'll
Yeah, I
take
think he said 5, but we only actually have 4.
Okay, then I take the.
I was guessing.
Aw, there goes my
I
wine.
give thumbs up to the man.
Then your generic
that's
wine
what I'm
that when someone tastes it and they spread the story that's the best to go on the line, I'm like, I guess these people don't really know their wines. It'll be like the comment and the rumor going around. Guess the
Or
tiny
they'll
folk don't have
like-
good taste.
Yeah, it's like, we don't like this one. What? They're strange if they do.
You can spend the evening there, and when night comes, because Kazran's probably going to get to work, and, I mean, by now, you're already definitely late into the day, so you're going to have to stay the night anyway, and Kaz, you'll probably finish up before the evening, the next evening. You'll probably be, like, mid-afternoon tomorrow when you finish up, I'll say. So you can still get some traveling time out, unless you want to stay a second night, you'll have to let me know about that. But for now, staying the night, as evening time begins to fall and the light begins to dim, it looks as though, like, wood gathered from down below is put together into, like, a kind of large group bonfire. So rather than, like, just one of them, or just each of them cooking themselves, it seems as though they put up this entire bonfire where there's this, like, massive, like, iron pot kind of moved out over top of it, and they're cooking, like, something in it. They're, like, it seems as though, like, various giants are bringing stuff to offer to the pot, almost. Like, the various hunters, gatherers, and, like, maybe even farmers. You're not even sure where they're coming up with these foods. They're bringing, like, all kinds of, like, some of them will bring up, like, these, like, kind of, like, root vegetables and, like, it's still small vegetables and stuff, but they're, like, bringing up, like, entire baskets full that are filled with all these things that they've been kind of gathering and putting together, Or, like, we'll come back with, like, a couple of animals that they'll kind of have carved up.
Is this pot the size of a house?
Pretty much, yes.
Thought so.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Radiant, can I ask a favor?
Yes?
I have this empty bottle, I have this pint of oil, and I have some small clothes I no longer need. Could you turn this into some kind of thrown weapon that I could light?
No, that's just silly.
I'm the smith of the party. Did you forget that?
Well, she's an alchemist.
Mm-hmm.
I thought maybe she might be.
Molotovs
Yeah,
are
you're
not
working
alchemy,
on
and
the
nor
magnet.
do they actually work very well. You would have to actually, like, work on making it actually work, because it's not something that just would work because you're putting, like, fire and oil. That's called, like, burning oil, which is something you can do according to the game normally. but it doesn't really do much else other than, like, I lit some oil and chucked it at someone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
It's an impromptu weapon. I have no use for these items, so...
Anyway, one of the giants will come over that was working on cooking it and be like, "Tiny folk, if you wish to partake, bring bowls of your own, and we will dip it for you into the great soup."
I just picture them going... "Eeh."
It's kind of like that, like using like a children's bowl and like going, "Oop." Mm-hmm. Again, it's really only 1/6 the size, so it sounds like it's pretty big. But like, if we're talking like a bowl that they're like you normally would have like like this big, like 1/6 might be like this big or something. So it's like
it's like a shot glass to them.
It is like a shot glass to them, yeah. Like bowls at least are a little decenter size. They are big, but they aren't like insane.
Their butt
I-
size is what our bowls are.
I want to use one of the empty, or actually both of the empty wine bottles to put the soup in.
I mean,
Can we do
okay.
that?
You could probably fill the wine bottles full of soup if you wanted to.
All right, cool.
You're not going to get any chunks. It's just going to be broth.
That's okay.
Like, because they're like
Use my wine bottle.
they're like throwing entire potatoes in there, kind of thing. Like that kind of
Or
stuff.
my liquor
They don't
bottle.
really cut up the vegetables. They just kind of like throw them in there.
I don't need to.
No.
You'll thank me later. That's all I'm gonna say.
A lot of you also can get like broth with like giant chunks of meat in it, like the size of like a fist, and like big entire potatoes.
We get like a steak.
Yeah, a steak and potatoes in some broth. One of you has an entire onion.
Small pot roast.
That's Carrie. Carrie gets the onion.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
You gonna eat that onion like an apple?
Pretty much, that's what Carrie would do. Accompanied by the last bottle of unopened, probably really bad alcohol.
They will offer you one of their specialties. They have an alcohol here that they do.
Fuck yes.
They
Nice.
call it mountain wine.
How strong is it and how drunk do I get?
It's not particularly strong, you'd say. It is kind of more like a wine. It seems to be like a amalgamation of some kind of a bunch of fermented fruit, but also they use a little bit of like it's like half wine, half mead. I would call it almost.
So it's honey-ish.
It's honeyish. They do use honey in its making, but they also use a lot of
Mead
like.
is a wine, though.
I know, mead is a wine. That's why I'm saying like they're using a combination of things to make the wine.
Yeah, partly mead, partly regular wine.
Yeah,
Like a white wine or a red wine?
red.
Pink, actually. It's a Moscato.
It's a
You're a-
rosado.
Because they're using like a lot of like berried fruits, like very heavy like colored berry fruits too.
Could be elderberry.
You'll be able to enjoy it and enjoy your time with them. There doesn't seem to be a lot of like revelry and speaking. There definitely seems to be like a level of like during the night's festivities, like one of them will be like on like there will be a time period where like there will be like as the night gets late there will be kind of like a kind of dance around the fire that's very kind of ritualistic, where someone will be on drums and the other one will be on like some kind of like flute kind of thing that's like a low rumbling flute. So it's like this carved out tree almost that they're kind of like going like kind of like blowing into and making like a loud noise because it's like a instrument that's goddamn like 10 foot 15 foot tall. It's like it's a huge instrument.
Is it a huge ordnance?
No, that's not to be sleep. Ordnance has only one place you can have it. Thank you very much.
Should introduce these giants to giant ordnance.
They will definitely have their revelries for a little bit, and then everybody will adjourn back to their houses, and kind of like the fire will be let to die out as night will come. It's surprisingly warm in the caves here too. It seems as though the fire itself, kind of almost is trapped in the area, and you can notice that the main entrance that you kind of entered into, on the front of it, like a large pelt has been kind of like put a number like some almost like a tapestry of like pelts has been put down to kind of block the cave entrance, to kind of keep in like the heat into this room for the night. Are you doing anything the next day while Kazarin's fixing up things?
I don't think we can trade anything else.
You really don't have a lot else to. So, do you want to stay another night, or do you want to head out once you're ready and repaired?
Let's dip, right? I mean, you guys don't got any.
I would like to get home as soon as possible. I'm scared.
Okay. That's fine. As you were told when you were ready to leave, you must approach the Elder. You can approach the Elder. He will once again call on Bromham. He will send a messenger out. Bromham will return with his travelers from the wood, and they will escort you back down the mountain, into the forest, and back to where they picked you up. Placing your wagon and the horse back down in the opposite direction than when you started. Wagon now repaired, in probably better shape than it's been in a long time. Like, while Kazarin was fixing it up, he probably found a few places where there have been, like, some damage that was like, this should have been repaired earlier, you know? It's like one of the spokes was, like, kind of cracked, and you're like, this wouldn't have been, like, major damage, but come on, guys. Whoever was, like, in working on this just ignored a lot of the basic repairs it needed.
Fucking do fucking maintenance with this thing. We can't just keep riding it and hoping it'll just work out. We need to actually fix it.
So, your souped-up Conestoga wagon with a mammoth hide over the top of it is ready to go again.
You know what we need? We need to put some springs underneath. So if you do any more sweet jumps...
It's like... activate the springs! It's just like, it's just suspension, like...
Yeah.
Anyway, why don't we take our second break here as you continue on your journey to Wyntris' home, having left the Stone Giants. So, if you need to use the bathroom, drink, snack, anything like that, go ahead and do it. I'll be back in a few
It's a
minutes.
contra-based food.
Yes. Welcome back for our last little bit here in the last part of the show. So, having left the Stone Giant Village, you can once again head onto the trail. Using Wyntris' knowledge about, you know, what are you hooking?
Nothing.
Okay.
I accidentally hit it.
Ah, okay.
She's hooking herself.
So, Wyntris' knowledge allows you to move back onto the trail, and as I said, it'll be about a 3-day journey, you're estimating, until you get to the place. Can I have one of you roll me a survival check to see how well you make your way through this? Less about, like, finding food and drink, because Wyntris has the ability to be pretty good at finding you that. More about finding good places to camp at night, and also to avoid some of the various predators here. There do seem to be giant, like, house-sized bears in the area, like 10 foot up the shoulder.
I'll assist Wyntris if she'd like.
I don't think you need to assist me, but
It gives you advantage.
I will let you assist me. You add 5 to this.
Okay.
No, I thought it just gives you advantage.
It just gives advantage, yeah.
I have double proficiency.
Yeah. Wyntris does a really good job of not only, like, finding, like, really good places to stay for the night, which is excellent, but she manages to kind of point out and, like, avoid, like, a couple of times where you're, like, worried about predators or natural things, just keeping away from some of the more dangerous creatures which are in the area. She recognizes that things like the Orcs are pretty... they're not friendly, so if you approach, like, the woolly cows, basically, the giant prehistoric woolly cows, they will not be friendly. The oxen kind of things. You know, so you do a lot of stuff to avoid a lot of the dangers, and manage to actually do the traveling pretty decently. It will be exactly 3 days before going across this trail, which seems to kind of wind through the mountains. So as I said, at fairly lower elevations. You're feeling like you're probably maybe like 500 feet above sea level, when these mountains go up like a couple thousand some places. but you kind of vary about height. Eventually, though, you're going to kind of move into what appears to be a valley at the foot of 5 mountains. So there's these 5 major mountains, and your one trail that you're kind of leading into will actually merge with another larger trail, which once you get onto that, Wyntris, you're like, you know this trail. You've been on it before. There was one time,
yours, Wyntris?
many years ago, where you took this, after you had visited the village here of the Minotaurs, you headed south to a human settlement that was on the edge of it. You remember you were a small child and accompanied your father for this. He was going on a trade mission that the village had asked him to go on. So you remember it is a long time ago, but it's familiar to a degree too. You're finally entering into very familiar things. After those 3 days, though, as kind of like in the afternoon, you will arrive at the Hurloon village. As I said, it's nestled in this little valley. You know this is not the, at least Wyntris, you know this is not the main settlement of the Minotaurs, but tales have said that the Minotaurs have very few settlements nowadays. They used to be settled a lot more all over the mountains, but after the Phyrexian invasion, many of their kind were killed off in the various things that happened with the invasion. So they have a few settlements left here and there. Probably only a handful, maybe 6 at most, spread throughout the entire mountain range, with a few stragglers who wander on their own. This is probably one of the most major ones, as it acts as a trade hub for their entire remaining group. So there's probably a few hundred Minotaurs in this pace. Hurloon Minotaurs are indeed still quite tall. They, as the Zaparan Minotaurs you'd meet before, were pretty tall. They were like reaching up towards like more than 9 feet tall. The Hurloon Minotaurs, they find that they are actually going over 10 feet tall. They are like large sized in comparison to like very large, like barely large size / tall medium. You know,
everything seems larger in these mountains.
Except for the core. Well, the core are a fairly tall race anyway. They're kind of tall and lanky.
That's what I mean. Everything seems larger in these mountains.
What you notice about them is that Hurloon Minotaurs are covered in a very shaggy fur. So they seem a lot similar to those Aurochs you saw. Some of them, like, the 2 main fur colors seem to be white or brown. You'll also notice that, like, all of them seem to have a penchant for tattoos. Actually, like, tattoos on their horns, which is really interesting. And then also, like, kind of facial tattoos on their 2 sides of their cheeks, kind of going down their snouts. Seem to be the kind of areas that they do them in.
Now, are they actually tattoos on the horns or more etchings into the horn?
They call them tattoos. So I think they are probably closer to etchings, but they like probably stain them with inks too. So probably somewhere in between 2 of them because it is on horn.
This is familiar ground.
Of course, you know there are a number of people here. You will see that there seems to be a group of dwarfs that seem to be enacting trade here. Some humans. There are in fact a couple of core. You do not recognize them, Wyntris, but you know there are a few villages in your area, so they could be from one of the other villages, you know, very easily. But there are a few core that seem to be...
Should we let the dwarves here know about that village?
Are you like the one that's like being eaten by the orc dudes?
Maybe.
Probably, yeah. I feel like it's our duty to do that.
We can have relatives.
The other thing is it would be difficult for them to get to the village because of the orcs that we have pissed off heavily by effectively making one gate useless and blowing up another.
Well, our friend there did ask us to spread the word about the orcs.
I didn't know what he ever said. I couldn't speak Dwarvish. But if I'll take your word for it. We can tell them.
Let's tell them. Give them some insight to the danger.
You can approach the dwarfs then. Hello, fellow travelers. Are you here for trade? We have fine dwarven materials that we're bringing. They're speaking common.
Okay.
We have fine dwarven materials that we brought from the hold.
I would be interested in trading, but we came here to actually warn you of the what was the whole thing that happened again? Refresh me.
The
Orc
village.
conquest of the
The orc curse seems to be broken, and they're taking over that whole territory. And we came across a dwarven village that was ransacked.
Wiped out, except for
Oh.
one slightly insane dwarf.
No, there were. He said there were survivors underneath in the tunnels in the mine.
He
They
did say that.
were indeed inside. That's why he was angry at us for poking around. Because we were about to find.
We're not sure if these are friends of yours, but we just felt like we'd let you know just in case.
These mountain ranges have been always one of the bastions of our kind here in the realms, in the domains. It's a shame to hear that the Ironclaw Mountains have fallen. Indeed, the Ironclaw Orcs are on the move, and that is good news for you to tell us. I can inform our Thane back in the hold.
That would be good. Yeah, anything
if
we
you want
could.
to roll a history check to hear what he's talking about,
Damn straight I do.
I do.
sure, go ahead and roll it.
I'm supposedly good at
Ow.
history.
Jesus.
Guess
I'm
I am.
also supposedly good at history, but I'm not tonight.
Let's see if I can hit.
Fish Claude, the two of you will know about what is called the Dwarven Hold. It is probably one of the only known remaining dwarven cities in all of Dominaria. Since the fall of the dwarves upon Sprazda, dwarves basically were pushed to like a near fringe race and spread across many of the domains, never really having a large area of their own. Here in the Hurloon Mountains is one of the few places that they managed to find a small foothill. The Dwarven Hold is known for its great treasures. It is also known to be, if you're talking about magical base, it's on a ley line of red mana. So it is an incredibly powerful source of magical energies, and some of the most powerful dwarven wizards are said to have come from there. The Hold is probably a major military. Unfortunately for them, because of their positioning, they were unable to do little during the Phyrexian War. They basically were able to offer shelter to a few of the Hurloon minotaurs and other graces that were in the nearby, and basically were able to shut themselves off for that to keep peace. They do not have necessarily a military to invade, but they are an incredibly defensive place, and effectively a city under a mountain.
Haha, drift over.
They are in the northern Hurloon Mountains, though, if you want to kind of know where they are. And that seems to be where these dwarfs are from. Unlike a lot of other places where they're just scattered like small clans and stuff, they are probably a city of a few thousand, at least. It's unknown how many exactly they have, because very few visit the actual hold, unless you kind of get peace with them, and even then if you visit it, it's kind of hard to judge because you're kind of escorted. It's not less that they dislike outsiders, it's more that, centuries of mistrust and entire near genocide of your race kind of makes you not feel like, letting people in.
Yeah. I get that.
Mm-hmm. So, that seems to be what he's talking about.
I really get that, because there is a dwarf in this.
Yeah.
Wink.
As far as you know, there weren't many dwarfs that actually ended up on Rath. So he might have been the only dwarf that ended up there and just ended up in such an awful situation.
Yeah.
Because it's the thing about Rath is people were taken from Dominaria and from a few other planes. It's just that means that sometimes just unique individuals ended up there on their own and just got stuck. So, we'll make sure to spread the warning of it. Thank you very much. The Ironclaws have gained power again. It can mean dangers for the East.
They were very scared. We'll confirm that. He's scared.
If you try to go there, they are building camps on the outer edges of their border. Be careful.
They are currently under repairs of their camp because of some antics and a small forest fire.
Yes.
So it might be, if you're going, now might be a good chance. Because, again, of the antics.
Unfortunately, our kind are very slow to act. I doubt my people will be willing to throw a lot in, and at most they might send some scouts to check things out, to see what's going on. Our people there, they're on their own for some time. If war and battle be declared to rescue them, we would not have the forces to battle against them. We would have to contact our allies within Dominaria and the other nations of Ariona.
Understood. Sorry to bring you grave news with this, but
As much as my business here is decently well, I must thank you, though. This information must be spread. If you come across others that you can spread the word to, please do. It may, if you do end up heading to any Dominaria settlements, I'd recommend checking in with their government and letting them know. At least spreading the word to them. As I said, our people take time to think, and we will most likely want more information. Either we use magic to try to spy on the orcs, or send spies.
understood. Well, we'll be happy to spread the word to anyone we run into.
You should let the
Indeed.
people of this village know, too. The Hurloon are fine people, and look after those who visit here to trade. They are gracious enough to not only allow us to trade here with them, but to host a trade between all the races of the mountains here. You'll probably want to tell the other merchants to spread the word. If you want to, I can just say you'll take the time to spread to each of them knowledge of it. The humans, of course, are probably from some of the border settlements on the edges of the mountains. There are a few probably human settlements in the lower mountains, but not many of them. They tend to stick to the red, as I said, the red Iron Mountains.
Right.
That's more of where Dominaria has kind of settled. The core, as I said, they're from another village, but they can try to spread. They can basically speak with you folks and be like, we'll warn the other villages if you're heading to your village, Wyntris. That'll be fine. Your village, which I should totally name now.
We never got to that.
We did not get to that. So if unless you've got a suggestion, I will give you a name right now.
Name me, please.
Name me.
my home.
All right. Core do have I believe Core have a language of their own, correct?
It's a hand language.
Yes, and it's mostly a hand language.
Yes.
Not really spoken.
No. So Core tend to be like, you oftentimes have a lot of silence and things, but they do learn the common language to speak. And their village is very descriptive. It is the spires nestled under the red winds.
I just call it the home.
Yeah, that's probably what you do. You probably just call it home. Or you might shorten it if you want to call it to the red winds. If you want to shorten it too. Home, or, if you're going to call it something shortened, usually they use like the last bit of their names. It probably has like there probably is something like deep within like how the Core would speak that would like refer to that as. Just that is what it would be referred to. Anyway, so even the Hurloon Minotaurs will be very thankful for looking at the information. So you'll easily be able to spread it to everybody. Is there anything else you want to do in town here? It is getting later on in the day, so you could definitely stay here. They do have, they don't really have an inn. They have a common hall that travelers can stay at. It's a large hall. It's kind of got like a big cafeteria kind of area where they've got seating of different sizes because, you've got some large people coming in here occasionally and things like that. And the Minotaurs themselves are quite large. Where you can kind of like either they do have like a cook that's making some things that they can offer to the travelers, or they do have some facilities that if someone wants to cook a little bit something on their own, they could. And it's got a kind of common area that people can kind of set down bedrolls and stuff. or within the building, if you want to set up a tent, it does have space for doing that too. So like there's a couple of like the merchants will set up private tents. Others will just have like bedrolls spread out and not really care too much, things like that.
As far as trade, what kind of stuff is going on?
All kinds of stuff. The dwarfs have a huge selection of metal tools, jewels, things like that. Think dwarfs, and that's what you got. Weapons, armors, tools, a lot of stuff made from metals and some unusual metals that you've never seen from before. Some very fine jewelry and jewel craft, all very fine craftsmanship. The humans are bringing in a couple of like dried foodstuffs, some various spices, some kind of alcohols, things like that. From down the lower regions, maybe some wood-carved materials, some various things that could be useful. The core bring in their own unique kind of things that they have, various objects and tools of art, like objects of art that seem to be of interest to other groups, various kind of interesting tools themselves. They do specialize in their own various types of like roping material, which is actually like, I would say, is akin to something like silk rope, so it's quite light and tough, but unique to the core people. So they are bringing a lot of that in, which is actually kind of popular because it's much better than your average hemp rope. Of course, it's kind of like they know where to find the right plants to make this within the mountain ranges and stuff like that. So it seems like the core are more like trading for a few things they don't need, supplying some materials, that they do. Everybody's kind of bringing some things in. The Minotaurs have their own supplies here. They have some own like things that they craft. It seems like they have like a very active like pottery section with like very elaborate kind of paintings on it that are kind of interesting. You definitely kind of can see that like the entire place, like the entire trading area is blanked over by these like massive like poles with these kind of like elaborate, almost kind of I wouldn't call them effigies at the top, large effigies. So
can I find like a tailor?
They probably have some people that work on basic clothing.
Because I just want to ask them if they could make my bear hide into just a quick little cloak.
You could probably make a cloak out of your bear hide, yes. You could probably find someone that would be able to do that with you. It probably would take a little time, so, I mean, it would be... If you want to stay a day here, you could get that done. I'm just going to say. It will take a little bit of time to do that. But if you're just making a simple cloak out of it, not too bad. But you will have to stay some time. So you'd have to ask everybody else.
Gary, I want a cloak.
I mean, that's something we need to ask the group. We do eventually end up... We need to ask other people in the group, Wyntris.
You are
Any
Let's ask
magical
Cass.
weapons or armor?
I mean, I'm fine with staying a little longer. It's not that big of an issue for me. I'd be happy to, take time and look around the city. Technically, it's on Nim's time, so it's up to him.
I mean,
Let's also...
again, like, I have been in relatively not a rush on my entire travels. It's been nice visiting some interesting places. Then and seeing some nice people, that kind of thing.
Well,
Did you like the giants?
Giants are a fascinating group of people within the intelligent communities of Dominaria. There are many very primitive
I don't
things.
want a history lesson.
They were
Wow.
interesting. There you go.
I'm interested. I could stop by and talk with you about it later.
I'm also interested.
Okay.
I would be interested in learning more about them as well.
I don't suppose the dwarves have any magical items, do they?
Yeah, I was asking about magic arms and armaments.
They may have a supply of things. How much money do you have?
I currently have been saving my money. I have over 1,500.
You
I got
might be able to
1,300.
get something. I would have to figure out what the hell they would have, because it would probably be very unique to dwarven culture and directly related to the use or manipulation of what effectively could be called red mana, which is oftentimes more evocating. but oftentimes also associated with the transmutation or conjuration of stone-based material or earthen-based materials.
I don't want a history lesson from you too, DM.
Too bad.
We get all the history.
So
This is a pretty lore-heavy campaign. I don't know what you were expecting.
I'm still just joking.
Anyway, I guess then if you're gonna do that, you probably want to settle into the common room.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sleep on the wagon because it's nice and we've made it our home.
Okay. If anybody else wants to use the common room, your wagon doesn't really have a place to be kept unless you keep it at like a kind of stable area with the common room. Which there are a couple of horses there. Otherwise, a couple of it looks to be like a team of ponies.
Oh no.
I'll go to the common area.
Never
Yeah,
say
I think
ponies
so.
when Wyntris is around.
Is there anyone in town that could run a message?
Like magically send one.
Or just by running there?
You could probably arrange something.
Yeah.
A messenger.
Yeah, just want to send a message to probably her twin brother saying, hey, we might show up here in a few weeks.
Okay.
Fair warning.
It'll probably be like 3 gold to send a message, I'll say.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I have gold now.
Yes. Within the common room, of course, there is this one minotaur who seems to be cooking. You'll notice that, like, what he does is, like, as you kind of enter in there, it's here getting towards the evening, so he lights this large hearth. And then he, like, kind of, like, seemingly, like, gives this kind of, it's, like, kind of, like, almost, like, epic kind of song for a little bit to the hearth before he starts cooking. And then he kind of goes, greetings, travelers! Welcome, welcome. I am Moonbeam.
Hello, Moonbeam.
Quite the dramatic.
Greetings, I am Moonbeam.
It's a good name.
Don't make fun of Moonbeam. I love him already.
Yeah, Moonbeam's great. I don't know what you're going off about.
You
I
may
also
call
don't know why
me.
I'm talking character right now.
You may call me Sings Badly.
That wasn't that bad. Ever heard the goblin try to sing?
Let me
No,
put it
I
this way. Hurloon Minotaurs are hilarious because they have nicknames. Let me give some example nicknames. Little Flower Eater, Bean Nugger, Sleeps by Day, Drops 6 Sticks.
Bean Nugger?
I like
Bean
sleep.
nugget.
Nudge, I'm sorry, Nudger. Bean Nudger,
Bean
Drops
Nudger.
6 Sticks. I'm like, where do you get these nicknames? So he is Sings
They
Badly.
must have been important sticks for it to become the nickname.
I know.
No, it's the most embarrassing part of their childhood is what they're doing.
Yeah. That could be very well it. Uh-huh. So, he sings badly. That's what he goes by. If you need some food, I shall be preparing for a great feast this evening. It is good news you have arrived at the times of important dance contest.
Important what now?
Performance, you say?
It is the spring season. It is a week-long event of dancing and wrestling, where the most powerful males impress the most powerful females.
That's wrestling.
Well, that's a little sexist. Are there, like, powerful females anywhere?
They will have their own contests.
Fuck yeah.
I am interested in these powerful males that you have mentioned.
I'm interested in dancing. Tell me more how I participate in this.
Outsiders are welcome to watch. If you wish to participate, you must know traditional Hurloon dances.
I'm sure there's an instructor around here, no?
No!
This is like a deeply traditional.
Well, I'm sure I can learn by watching.
Perhaps you can, small man. Your interest in our ways is impressive. Perhaps you too could participate and impress all of who are here.
Oh, it would be an honor. I love participating in cultural traditions.
Do you think you could also wrestle?
I can certainly try.
Are you at least skinned at the moment?
Yeah, I got my human mask on.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, if you want to grab some food, you can do that very easily. But then you can see as though there's some kind of like, granted, like, the minotaurs here are still very tribalistic, very shamanistic kind of in their ways. So they kind of like have a lot of that, you know, like they are bulls, and you know the bulls are doing their best to like battle with each other and impress the females, kind of thing. You know, you definitely see that in mentality, the animal side of them coming out. But even the females seem to be like, it's more subtle in the way that they do things, but they seem to be having these all kinds of like much different contests that seem to be kind of like almost impressing in amongst themselves, you know? It seems to be like a matter of like horn decorations. It seems to be like a contest that is going on that seems to be showing off impressiveness. And also there seems to be like, you can tell that they're definitely like doing a kind of sizing up kind of contest, almost like, you know, trying to like, you know, still physically match each other, but it's a lot less aggressive, you know? Sort of like, there's definitely like a animalistic dominance going on in the entire community at this point in time.
Well, there you go, Gary. You can do some horn decoration.
Kara, you should enter the wrestling competition.
God, do I want to?
Try to impress the powerful females.
Yes.
If one of you wants to participate in the dancing contest, you can. I would want you to make a history check first to know if you could even attempt the Hurloon traditional dances. And then if you can make that history check, which I'm going to say is a DC 25, I'm just going to give you that outright because it's an unusual thing that very few of you probably have heard about. You will have normal check on perform. If not, you have disadvantage.
I want to make the history check. I don't want to dance, but I do want to make the history check.
Okay.
This is impossible for me to get then. Oh no, I'm so
Oh, I rolled a
stupid. I'm
2.
stupid.
I rolled a 2.
Oh,
yeah.
it's so close.
None of you know the traditional Hurloon Minotaur traditional dances, so if you want to make a perform check, you can just with disadvantage. I'm just saying, like, it's...
Can we try to
Because,
ask
like...
around?
It's not less asking around, it's more like, you know, probably a father shows, like, their sons kind of, like, what to do, kind of thing.
Can
You
I
know?
inspire bardic
It
inspiration?
is effectively like a mating dance, yes.
Okay, I want to.
You're getting into the mating dance contest. That's what you're doing. You can bardic inspiration yourself, though.
All right,
Are
I'm
you
gonna
trying
do
to? You're doing a mating dance.
Okay.
What?
So how does
No,
this
but
work
wait.
again?
Oh yeah,
You would roll
yeah.
your, I believe, is it a D6 or D8 right now for your bardic inspiration? I don't know when
Should
it
be
goes
an
up.
8.
D8? So roll a D8 and add it on to what you got.
Oh, almost
Ouch.
a 21.
Uh-huh. Okay, so the best to perform is, of course, Maxwell, because he inspired himself beforehand, with a mighty and whopping 12. You're not really impressing anybody. You know, you're doing an okay job. Even Wyntris is doing an okay job. Claude, no. You know,
I did go into Minotaur form.
yes.
You're just a bad.
But the Minotaur form you have is also, like, a different type of Minotaur, too.
Oh, I know.
So, okay, anybody that's participating in a wrestling contest, please give me an athletics check.
I'm competing in everything.
Oh, it's athletics.
Yes, it is wrestling.
Is there a form that
I'll
I would
try
have
it.
a bonus to athletics?
Wow.
Do I have a natural form that I'd have a bonus to athletics?
Apparently, I'm better at athletics than I am for
Probably
actually
not.
performing.
Just roll athletics, and maybe if there's a bonus for different forms, you can do it.
Or
But I feel like
something with better strength.
I feel like changing your forms kind of removes the idea of like the use of the contest because you're competing as your
Oh.
Minotaur form.
Fine. I get a -1 to this.
Yes.
Oh wait, that was disadvantage.
We'll take the 11. You do okay. I mean, like, you do much better on the wrestling contest, but, you know, like, Carrie just kills it on the wrestling contest. Like, there are probably a few minotaurs that are definitely, like, out, like, they just have, like, the training and, like, they're, like, ripped and stuff and have, like, a lot of the natural strength that you have difficulty with. But you're using a lot of skill to kind of, like, move into it. And so, like, you managed to get actually pretty decent in the wrestling contest. Did you participate in the dancing contest?
Me, no.
Aw, why not? You should roll.
Because why would I dance?
Aw.
Because it's all part of the mating.
It is all part of the entire thing?
Yeah, but like, would I be having to be mating with males? Because I'm not into that.
No, it would be your females. You're doing it on the
Oh,
male.
yeah.
You're dancing in the male's dance, so.
Oh, damn, well, I should have, but I would have failed anyway, so.
Try it.
Well, first you do your history, and then to see if you.
I did the history, I got a 22.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
She
barely
was,
missed
she was
it.
close to knowing about it, but not quite.
okay, well, you get disadvantage on performance, but you could roll 2 20s.
Wait. Before, let me see if I can boost you at all. I'm technically a support class.
I mean, I can inspire you.
I can't. Good fucking luck.
That's fucking.
Damn.
10's okay. It's not
Well,
great.
you have a bardic inspiration apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So
What?
D6.
What is it?
D8.
Oh, D8.
You got this.
I mean,
You roll an 8.
I got 2 more of these left, by the way.
well, I mean, you
That-
probably
not
refreshed them, so you probably have back to your, like, 1 less than normal. Oh, you normally have 3, then.
Well, no, it says I have 4 because my charisma's at 4.
Well, you've had a couple of days, you probably rested up and got one back, and got the one you used back earlier, you know, since the last time you used it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought this was all on the same day.
No, I mean, the last time you used it, wasn't that back at, like, with the Giants, I thought?
Well, so
Well,
He
no,
inspired
like,
himself.
yeah, you
No,
know,
you
I
have-
inspired myself.
Oh,
for
you
the,
inspired yourself. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's the same day.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
inspired
I would
yourself.
have
I
2
forgot
left.
you inspired yourself today. Yep, sorry. Okay. Alright, so yeah, you do pretty good jobs in, like, the dance contests, and, you know, with some inspiration from Maxwell, and the wrestling contest, and you do notice something. Though, like, the entire contest of the Minotaurs is primarily male, there does seem to be a couple of tougher-looking females that seem to participate. It's less, like, you get the feeling that it's still, like, not looked well upon, because they are still a more, like, traditional male and female roles. But there is sort of, like, that entire thing of, like, under the surface if no one talks about it kind of thing. So you do have, like, you know, it's just, like, some of the males aren't participating and are looking like they're just kind of hanging out and watching. You know, kind of thing like that. It's a pretty big community here, so you can get a couple of feels of, like, some of those things like there.
No one says anything, but it's there.
Yes. You know,
Culture.
it's culture. For a very animalistic race that keeps their normal kind of, like, standards of things, they do have some culture to them and probably are a little bit more developed. Especially because they do, like, especially around here, because they do hang out with things like Core, which I'm pretty sure Core just do whatever the fuck they want. You know, it's just that, like, they have probably extended family lines. So probably, like, in Wyntris' village, there's probably about, like, a dozen family lines, and everybody's going to be a member of one of those families. And you might just marry into another one of those families, kind of thing, you know? Anyway, yeah. I mean, some of you are impressive, some of you are not. It depends on how...
didn't try.
Some of you didn't try. Some of you just enjoyed the show, and I'm not sure how many of you wanted to be propositioned by Minotaurs.
Me.
I don't know about that one, boss.
I was just mostly watching the impressive males.
Yes. There were a couple of very impressive ones.
Did any of us actually succeed at this?
Carrie?
Carrie?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Carrie,
Little twist.
I'm gonna go for, what do you want to try to impress? Do you want to try to impress one of your fellow competitors, that is female? Or do you want to impress, like, one of the possible ones that are just watching normally?
Honestly, either.
Okay,
This is the start of the harem.
Oh my god, it could be.
just roll me charisma, and we'll just say, like, you know, we'll see what you get for that one.
I'm not charismatic. Well, I'm apparently
one of the tough females that you, like, got into actually that, like, was competing in the wrestling, you got in a wrestling contest with them, and you actually hit it off very well, you know? Whether or not any kind of relationship would develop or hareming, you at least made, like, good friends with this minotaur kind of thing, you know? At least for now.
I'll take it.
You know. I mean, I believe Maxwell did acceptable on things, so Maxwell had, like, some of the minotaur females, rather than, like, actually propositions, were just, like, kind of, like, you know, like, kind of get that kind of, like, flirty, like, tee-heeing kind of thing.
Giggle and wave.
Yeah, giggle and wave.
Tea.
And then, of course, Latula will come up and take you away. And
Perfect. I was actually gonna ask, was she impressed by everything?
she will mention she's impressed by you, while looking like she's probably a little pissed off at you.
Oh, but I was trying to. Oh, I wasn't trying to do it like that.
He's trying to impress Latula and instead made her jealous.
Mhm.
That was kind of a backfire. I tip my hat toward the audience as I walk away with her.
And Wyntris was just average.
Wyntris, no one quite knew about the core just trying to participate in it. It was kind of silly, but people just accepted it was happening. It's probably not the first time a random core has joined in this. It will probably not.
do it every once in a while.
I mean, your people are very, you know, free-spirited. You know, I think it's after, like, you know, the eons of impression and finding, like, a freedom here in this world.
Party and they go party.
Yeah, they found a freedom here in this land that, like, they hadn't known for generations, and they enjoy it. So.
They see minotaurs dancing. You dance.
So it'll be an enjoyable time in the Hurloon village, and as your time passes there, a cool bear cloak will be made for Wyntris, and you'll be ready for your to depart for your last few days of journey to Wyntris's village, spires nestled under the red wings. So
There are some other things I was thinking of possibly buying.
okay.
Do they have gallons of oil?
Probably not
Best
gallons.
reoccurring gag.
You could probably find a little bit of oil, probably from the humans. The humans would probably be trading a little bit of oil. They might have, like, let's say, like, 6 pints of oil for sale.
That's not enough.
You.
Gallons
Gallons is
plus.
You had 5 gallons before.
No, we had just the one.
Oh, you just had 1 gallon. I mean, pints, or 6 pints is, like, a chunk of a gallon.
Yes, but
How many pints
I'm
in a
guessing
gallon?
you'll give us an idea of
8.
the
That's
weapons-
almost a gallon.
weapons or
Yes, I'll give you an idea. If you're looking into what the dwarfs have, I will give you kind of an assessment of the kind of things they have. I'll take a look. Let me know how much money you have, and I'll give you an assessment of, like, are there any items you could probably purchase from them.
a little over 1,500.
Yeah, 1,500 is still not a lot, so you might be able to buy something, but I will take a look.
It doesn't have to be from the drawers, even if anyone else has.
None of the other people would have had magic items, really. Like, if the Minotaurs have something, they don't have it for sale. That's the only thing I'm going to say about that. It's probably something that their shamans have. If they have any kind of magic items or artifacts like that, that's probably who has it. And they probably just don't sell it. They probably either make them themselves or they pass it down in between their lines, like whoever they train. The core, I don't think they particularly have a lot of special items. Things like Wyntris's hook are probably considered the closest thing to an artifact that they have, and those are just like heirlooms for the families.
Also, how much is their rope?
It's the same price as Silk Rope. If you want to get some, effectively it's the same stats and price as Silk Rope, but I will say it actually, like, it is probably, they could sell it for the same price as Silk Rope, but I will give it that it actually probably has, like, more hit points. Because I think that's the difference between Silk Rope and Hemp Rope. I think it was the weight and the hit points. I think it was.
Yeah, hit points, it has 2 hit points. Rope, whether made of hemp or silk. Oh no, hemp or silk has 2 hit points. Can be burst with a DC 17 check.
It's just half the weight.
Yeah, the weight 5.
I mean, then I'll give it its, like, 3 hit points then.
Okay.
Yeah. It's they don't sell it for a lot. It's better than Silk Rope. It's just they don't have a large supply of it, and so you're not going to get a lot. But you can buy a spool here.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else doing here in town before we'll kind of end it for today, and we'll start up with the last trip to Wyntris' village when we begin next time.
In 2 weeks.
Yes. So that's good? Great. So you participate in the Minotaur contest, have a good time, spend a little time here in the village. The dwarves will leave the next day, so it seems like they will finish up their business here and head out. They definitely are early in heading out in comparison. The core and the humans are a little bit more lax about that, just because like they have their own schedules. It seems like the dwarfs definitely sped up their schedule because, again, dwarfs are concerned with dwarfs, and the guy that's there knows that, yeah, you know, they're going to be slow to act anyway, so might as well get back the information as fast as possible. Okay, so, hey everybody, thanks for joining us. We're going into our endgame little thing here. I keep forgetting to do stuff at the beginning about how characters are doing because I've forgotten that in the past couple of weeks. I've just been off.
Passed out.
You were passed out, so that would have been how you say. So, but we'll still do our normal outros about stuff, and then I'll kind of throw my outro. So we'll start with Mads.
Hi, I'm here, and my hair is actually orange, not red. I just have horrible lighting. But also, hopefully, next week we'll be back with whatever my game is called, the modern D&D game.
Not the Rifts.
Fish knows because Fish is in it. But we don't know if it'll be streamed or not, so stay tuned.
Okay, and then Fish.
Hi, I'm Fish. It might be streamed on my Twitch channel, which you can find at twitch.tv/fishharlan16. You can also find me outside your local Spirit Halloween performing an exorcism.
Who are you performing it on?
The
Me?
Spirit Halloween. No, just the building itself.
Ah,
It's called Spirit Halloween, so clearly it's possessed by something.
that's
I
true.
mean, they just
Sounds
pop
right.
up randomly during October, so I
Look,
believe-
I got ordained. I got to do something with it.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we go to Lee.
The power of fish compels you.
Hey guys, I'm Just Lee Belmont. I'm also a Twitch streamer. If you're into comedy, wholesomeness, that kind of stuff, and also speedrunning, you know where to find me. I love you all.
And Joe.
Wholesomeness. I'm Joe. You'll find me here on Tantus's channel. We'll be off for the next week, other than discussing tabletop Saturday. Grinding Gears will continue in 2 weeks, and I'll see everyone here in 2 weeks.
And then Lindsay.
Hi, I'm Lindsay. I like to take long walks on the... I did type it already. No, see, you'll find me sending the Dungeon Master's D&D costume to everyone I know.
There's a costume?
Yeah, it's based off the Dungeon Master from the old 80s cartoon.
Oh, yeah! That's what... Okay, so that makes perfect sense then. Okay, I'll give you that. I mean, I like cool robes.
It's not cool. It comes with a bald cap.
Oh, it's not
It's
good.
not cool, and it's $50.
Oh, it's expensive and it's not cool. Could you
Unfortunate.
just wear the robes?
I mean, you could, but like,
The robes are bad.
For that, look, for
Also
that
still-
price, you're better off going to an antique mall, buying fabric, and making it yourself.
Yeah, it's true. I'll give you that.
very true.
As for myself, I am Dracovin. You can find me here most days. Probably going to have the finale of The Forest with my Friday friends tomorrow. discussing tabletop on Saturday, and as Joe said, I'm going to be off for a week. So from Sunday to the next Sunday, I will be away, but I will be back on that second Sunday in time for grinding gears. But if like you're looking for me earlier in the day, I'm not going to be around. You know, it's traveling home during that time. It's like a 3.5 hour, 4 hour journey. So you can expect me, because I'm leaving like, you know, by 11, to get back in the mid-afternoon. Anyway, so grinding gears, 2 weeks. Everything else, 2 weeks. You know, we'll be back here for doing the entire thing with Wyntris' village. Which reminds me, Lindsay, just if you have any details about your village you want to design, throw them towards me and I can add them in.
Ooh.
So it's your home village. And, you know, I'll also want a list of people that I can possibly meet from your direct family. Not from your...
I gave you that.
I have to remember where you put it. Is it on your character sheet, or do you, if it's not, send it to me again, or pin it?
There. I sent it to you.
Okay, great.
I just had it on hand.
See, that's easy. Otherwise, I hope everybody enjoyed today's show. Have a great rest of your Friday, or Thursday. Is the stream still good? Because my internet's hookupping again. Hopefully the stream is still good.
It's okay.
Okay. I think that's priority over the rest of my internet. That explains why Firefox died again. Shit. Anyway, yeah. Have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane. Check out the rest of the stuff. Hope to see you in 2 weeks' time here for more adventures. See everybody. Bye. Farewell.
Bye.
Bye bye.